Tell me about your first date.
My first date. Well, I really only dated. I never dated. I didn't date. And Gloria had set up, Bill's friend. And so she set up a date. We had a Halloween party at school that the PTA sponsored. And it was the adults. Adults came, it was in the evening.
Oh, nice.
There was dancing, they played a record, they had dancing, and there were refreshments served. So that's what Gloria said, well, Bill, how about you join us, and Shirley will join us, and we'll go to the party at school. So that's what we did. We drove over to Saginaw to the Halloween party at school, and that was our first date with. So then he called me the next day, it was Sunday.
So is it Bill?
Pardon me?
Bill? Or
Bill.
just who? So you didn't date anybody before you dated Bill?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, I didn't date at 16 or nothing, no.
Okay. Okay. So
So-
Bill called you after the dance.
So the next day was Sunday. So Sunday we always went to the movies at noon after lunch. So Cordian and I, we went to the movie and came home. Well, about 4:30 or so, maybe it was 5. Bill had been out. It was fall time of the year. He had been pheasant hunting. He and Bill Markle had been out pheasant hunting.
And they're how old? They were young. You had been to a school dance?
Yeah, I was teaching school already.
Oh, you were teaching school. Okay, I thought you meant you were still at school, right?
No, I was.
Okay,
teaching
you were
school.
already teaching
So
school.
I was like 20, 21,
Okay.
22.
Okay.
And Bill said to him, well, how about we oh well, they had been hunting that day. So when they got home, Bill called me. It was probably 5 o'clock or so, and he said, well, he just got home from hunting. Would I be interested in a movie that night? And I said, well, that would be very nice, thank you. So he picked me up about 7 or whatever time it was, and it was the same movie that we had seen, but I didn't even say that I'd already seen it. You know, just went with it. Yeah, you know, I had made up my mind that, you know, I wasn't. What was he? Maybe he would say, well, we'll go to this one or that one.
Right.
Anyway, he might say, oh well, we'll just forget it. So
And you didn't want that.
I didn't want that to happen. Yeah.
Did you have dances in high school that you went to? Did you have a social life in high school?
I didn't go back to school for things. I was really encouraged just to stay home. My dad wasn't for that, being out and about in the streets and stuff.
Oh, that's not out in the streets, but...
But see, I don't think. Well, see, he was 20 years older than my mother, so when he went to school, it was more the community. It was just, you know, they knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody. So, and we didn't know anybody, so they didn't know who you would be associating with, you know.
Or there was no social life in and around the church either?
Well, my mother, we went to the Catholic church. My dad went to the Lutheran church, so we really didn't get involved in that.
You didn't socialize at those either because the whole family wasn't a part of any of it.
Right.
Wow, that seems like it was you guys were really isolated, both physically from the city and from neighbors, but also kind of socially cut off and
We
emotionally
associated
cut
with
off.
our aunt and uncle.
Just your own family.
Mhm.
Wow. Does that make you? How do you feel about the way people do it today? Do you think we're socializing too much?
It's just different, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Did you have any hobbies at home to fill your time if you weren't socializing, or books or music?
Well, in the 7th grade, we had sewing. They taught us how to use a sewing machine, and well, my mother had taught us how. She had a treadle machine, and she had taught me how to use that. And I had made an apron before I was in school. But we had electric machines at school, and oh my, how wonderful that was! Oh goodness. What did I made a slip.
Oh.
You know, and that's not easy. There's a lot of fitting.
Yeah, especially if a slip is really kind of silky material. That's hard to sew.
Well, they were cotton. It was cotton material, but they're fitted. You know, there's a lot more fitting to that than there's like to an apron or something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we did that, and then my mother. I hadn't been sewing for too long, and my mother. Well, she did a lot of sewing. So my dad bought her an electric sewing machine. So then, that was wonderful because it was like the machine I had at school.
Yeah, yeah. And then you sewed a lot of your own clothes too.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long did you date Bill before you got married?
Well, we started, it was like at Halloween. I think we started at Halloween, and in June we got married, I think.
How did you know that he was the one?
Well, I didn't know anybody else, you know.
He won by default.
And we got along, real well, and Gloria and Bill were our friends, and, you did all these things together, so it was, yeah,
You knew you were in love?
Well, I was like 22, he was like 27, 28 years old. He had been, dating and so forth over the years. So he was the one, when he proposed, I thought, wow, I'm at school. He and I had been to a couple of weddings that year, the girls that I was working with. So I thought, well, I guess it's time to get married.
Yeah, that's right. That's the time. It tends to be the timing. What was the hardest thing about being a newlywed?
A newlywed? It would be so funny because people would speak to me and call me Mrs. Schmidt, and I just did like I didn't. And, they're talking to me. Well, I don't know. We were brought up to, you just whatever the situation, you just make the best of it. That's what it is. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So I guess I never thought there was any. I don't think there was any issue. It was the same way that I had lived out before.
Well, you had lived with your parents, and you went from your parents directly into having your own home.
Yes.
Was that a challenge? That transition must have been hard.
Well, it was kind of nice because, boy, I got to decide what I wanted, and I did. And Bill wasn't that involved in the only thing that he would be involved in is how much is it, So for the most part, I pretty much got to do what I wanted to do because he did. Now Bob, Cordine's Bob, let me tell you, he was as involved in buying furniture and everything and whatever as she would be. Mm-hmm. So she shared that with him. Bill could care less, so he was out with hunting with his buddies, and I was off doing shopping what I needed for the house.
That's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can just get whatever you want.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Yeah,
and whatever I did was fine, And if there was something, if he had a suggestion, he'd say, well, maybe next time he'd make sense. So then I would note that, and I think, well, that I could have done that way too. So I would make sure that I honored his suggestions so that he didn't feel like he was talking to a deaf ear.
Right. Well, you managed that pretty well. Your mother must have done that too. So
yes.
You must have seen that behavior modeled somewhere.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.